Hello everyone, welcome back to a new video, to a new replay analysis video, which I haven't done in a while and I've been wanting to do more of them. I've been a little bit busy lately with all the guide videos and stuff like that, the tutorials. They've been a lot of work. I've also had like family come visit, and it's just been a very busy past couple of weeks. But I do want to get back to getting replay analysis because there's a lot of very funny and crazy matches out there that have been happening, and I have them all saved up. So whenever I have time, I'll review them, and then I'll post them there for you guys to watch and have fun, and hopefully learn, because we'll want to learn, but we also want to get some fun out of this. And there's definitely a lot. There's been a lot of matches that have been very, very crazy, and this one is right there. Is right there with one of the top craziest matches that I've seen this year. We have the players Izanagi 007 and Mini Nini. They're both very good players, probably like top 10 or top 20. I know Izanagi is like on the top of the high funds ladder, and Mini Nini I'm not very sure, but they're both like 13 or 1400 level players. And I've already reviewed this map. This map is called Malakit Trail. It's a very big high funds mixed base map. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of income in it, and I hope you guys don't mind to review the same map again. I really like to watch different matches on the same map, because sometimes the map will play different in different matches, and it just shows how good the map is and how dynamic and how many options there are out there. And it's really up to maybe the players or like the COs they pick and how they play it. And like in the last video we saw the Olaf versus Kanbei here, and now we have Grit versus Adder. So very, very, very different COs and very different matchups. Maybe to start off with the COs, I mean, Adder is your how do you say, your simplest CO, I guess. Has no day-to-day, but his power is super cheap. You usually just want to use your power all the time, get that extra 10-10 and plus movement, and Adder becomes pretty good in high funds. I mean, he's still tier 4, but sometimes it's like borderline tier 3 in high funds, and in mixed base he can really shine a lot. On the other hand, we have Grit, who in high funds falls off a lot. Like in standard he's broken. Then in fog he's like, depends who you ask, but it can be anything between tier 1 to tier 4 depending on the map. But in high funds is like between tier 4 and tier 2, I think. If it's a very good naval map, then he's like tier 2, but if not, he's usually like tier 4 or tier 3. And this is mixed base, so it's not very good for Grit. Grit usually wants to have like one single block of units to advance slowly, with his artillery and everything, and then like pretty much eat all the map. Take over the whole map with his big blob of artilleries and missiles and anti-air and stuff like that. So definitely a very strange pick by Izanagi to pick Grit here. And we can just jump right into it. We're gonna start off with the infantries, and they're both gonna rush these airports. I forgot to mention, so if you haven't watched the other video, you got the 2 base, 1 base 1 airport, 1 base 1 airport. Same for all both players. So you got like the stronger side and then 2 like slightly weaker sides, but they have an airport, and in high funds airports are really strong. And your 2 most important areas of the map are gonna be like this whole area and this whole area, because like if you control this area, then you can join the armies either this way or this way, and then you can move all that big blob of army to one side, maybe like crush this side. If you join these 2, you can crush over here, or if you join these 2, if Pink has the control over this area and joins armies, then can shift down here and crush this base over here. And same over here. So there's definitely a lot to, like, there's a lot of properties to contest. Like all of these properties over here, all these cities and this com tower, all of these are all contested. We're probably gonna see T-copters from both. Yeah, usually players here will make T-copters. Same thing here, to rush these com towers. And we got double recon from Adder. Gonna use those recons to probably put pressure, interrupt caps, but they're also pretty good to deal damage onto artillery. They deal like 5 or 6 HP of damage to artillery, so they're pretty good. And their high movement, you know, if there's enough roads, they can kind of point at artillery from a safe range. And they're almost the cost of a tank, you know, it's like a tank and an infantry. Let's say you did 2 recons, so you can be pressuring 2 areas at once instead of, again, 2 recons. More recons, 2 recons, and then another 3 recons and a copter by Adder. And then we got the quadruple arty build by Grit. So already we're arriving at the contested areas. Got this infantry capping here, this infantry capping this com tower, which I think this recon, if it would have sat here, could have done 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, it could have pressured here this com tower. But Mini Nini decided to go over here. I'm not sure why. So getting those com towers, and this com tower over here is gonna go and interrupt and kill this infantry with the recon and infantry. I wonder if maybe that could have been with... Oh no, this was the only tile. Okay. So this artillery is gonna get a kill there. But there's another recon here pointing at that artillery. So maybe if Grit can't cover this artillery, it can get shot by that recon. So many recons by Adder. Crazy. And we got our first tank of the match. Is day 6, but in high funds day 6 is like day 10 in standard almost. So yeah, boom, by goes the recon. We got these artilleries coming in. These artilleries over here. It's gonna be really tricky for Grit to like get set up properly, because this is like the complete opposite gameplays. You have like the very dynamic, you know, recons and tanks, and the +1 movement of Adder, like boom, boom, boom. You got all these moving units all the time, pressuring multiple areas, and Grit is more of a, you know, methodic, slow. I'm gonna build up my army, and I need to make more artillery and more anti, and just like very slow. Yeah, like, you know, tile by tile advancing. So this copter is gonna come over here and interrupt this capture for free. Yeah, that's pretty good. And you got a lot of copters, a lot of copters. You got the copter spam going by Adder. Copters from Adder are really good in icons. Also keep in mind that, like, look at that, the power is almost already charged. Like, he gets his power so fast. And a few tanks. No big vehicles by Mini Nini yet, which I think makes sense, because, you know, against Grit, why would you make a medium tank if it has less movement and it's gonna get shot down by artillery anyways? Like, neo tanks and mega tanks could work, but I think focusing in on a lot of light vehicles makes a lot of sense. And here Izanagi gets a shot at this recon. Is trying to really set up, like, he has this little pocket over here, setting up this little pocket here and over here, using all the terrain to the advantage. Look how many artillery. It's crazy. And we got our Neo tank. We got our first teched up unit of the match, and it was built by Grit. Copter gonna harass this infantry, gonna harass over here. I think it's not covered. Yeah. Lots of interrupts and lots of like little hits by Mini Nini, finding those, covering this city over here, although Grit couldn't reach. But it's a nice little pocket to hide in here. Can maybe get a hit on the artillery. So keeping the pressure on, always having all these high movement direct units pointing at Grit's army all the time. Look at these recons. Like, this recon can shoot at like this artillery and this artillery at the same time. It's crazy. Really, really good use here of the vehicles. But it looks like here Mini is having to like pull back from this area. You can see how he's splitting over here and over here. Because I guess these artilleries are really well positioned and doesn't want to get shot by this anti-air or whatever for free. So Grit still using this little pocket. It's gonna shoot at that infantry. It's gonna make a fighter, I guess, to deter all of these copters, and slowly moving 2 tiles, 1 tile per turn. But it's gonna be tricky though. It's not easy because you get some hits here, boom, 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 boom. You get all the artillery weakened, and Grit all of a sudden has nothing to do. A lot of captures here. Adder with the income lead, 56 seconds, 48, and is having control of this area. So Adder is having control of this area. It's gonna take out that infantry, although it's gonna get shot at by the fighter. I'm guessing Mini is gonna make a fighter here. Yeah, okay, to protect the copter, and shifting everything over here, really taking control of this area over here, and also shifting some units from over here into this area. So kind of giving up this area. So it's gonna be like split, like Adder has this side and Grit is gonna have this side. So artillery is firing, and actually Adder is like, Grit, it's actually not gonna go for this area. It's kind of shifting back here, maybe like, you know, to this other area, maybe not lose control of this. Doesn't want to fall back too much behind it on income, because and didn't go for the copter. Made another fighter. Interesting. Oh yeah, because Grit has a -20 firepower, so I guess in this fighter against fighter war, Adder would win. So the thing with Grit is that his ideal army comp is so cheap. That's why he's so good in standard and so in fog, but especially in standard, because it's like artillery, anti-airs, and infantry. That's all he needs pretty much. And in high funds, like you can have that all the time. You can make an artillery and an anti-air every single turn. But there's so many teched up units that then he can kind of struggle with that to keep up with all the tech ups. It can be bombers and neo tanks all the time, and his neo tanks and bombers are not that great. So I guess what I was trying to say is that Grit doesn't mind falling behind on income. Well, we got a city flip right here for Adder. He doesn't mind falling behind on income too much because he has 46,000. He can still spam all the units he needs to make the big ball of units to then advance and take the map. But you don't want to fall too behind, to the point where the other one is like a neo tank in income ahead kind of thing. Got a little hit here, a lot of like repositioning, so these units are coming back over here, making a neo tank to ward off that neo tank maybe. A lot of repositioning, shuffling units, making sure, I think Adder is trying to pressure this area, doesn't want Grit to kind of join armies. Doesn't want to concede here and doesn't want to concede here. So Adder really wants to have control of the two most important contested areas. This fighter, lots of, you even see a missile. What? It's a great missile. I guess it's not actually that bad. And a rocket and a missile. This is like a campaign almost, like war room, like from the original games. And here just pulling back. So Grit is kind of like giving up on this whole idea of controlling this area. Too many units from Adder that Adder can just like sack recons and stuff and like pretty much harass all of this. And I guess it's wants to overwhelm this area. So there was a big change of plans in both players in these last few turns. Let's see. Fighter staying away from, I guess from the anti-airs, yeah, makes sense. These fighters can also pointing at this airport, so it's gonna be tricky for Grid. And what's gonna happen over here? It looks like a sandwich of units here from Grid. Another a little bit like splitting the units, a little bit over here, a little bit over here. A lot of copters over here floating on the water, which is really funny. Still very behind on income. Oh, Another already has his power already, so at all times he is threatening the +1 movement attack. So that's really strong. Like this copter can always be threatening to hit this artillery, so Grid has to keep an anti-air close. It's very tricky. At the same time, Grid is almost very close to his power, so he can also use that +1 as a threat of like, keep your distance, one tile more, because or else I'll pop the power and everything is gonna get blown up to bits. So completely abandoning this area, Grid. Trying to form a little defense over here with the mountains and the anti-airs and look at this impenetrable little defense, like a fortress almost. All these mountains. Yeah, this is impossible to attack into. You need neo-tanks and bombers here. There's way too many light vehicles. I think Adder needs to start making some bombers, maybe some neo-tanks. We even see a mega tank by Grid. And now that's going to be really hard to take down because you only have light vehicles. I think it's getting to a point where it's starting to favor Grid a lot. Like all this unit buildup, I think Adder really wants to just keep trading off. It's really tricky because you're gonna send a tank to hit this anti-air and then it's gonna get shut down. And then you just lost one vehicle to damage half of one. But I think you really need to find those little hits all the time. So we're seeing here a big move. Looks like Adder is trying to pressure this space over here. Oh, makes a mech. This mega tank is really scary. Look at how many copters. Okay, oh yeah. So bomber tank. So finally we see a bomber. Other bombers are really good. This city over here is gonna get flipped. Grid getting some more income finally. But Grid couldn't even get this city or this city. Got this city somehow. And has this comm tower, fortunately. But Adder could try and come and steal it eventually. It's really tricky for Grid to have a good foothold like at the very beginning. Look at how Izanagi has to position the units like all the way all tucked away in the back, behind these mountains. It's really good, no? I wonder if you can take this mega tank out somehow. There's really like a panic buy button of don't take my base. Oops, I moved the map. So, same here, just shuffling and making use of the mountains here. Very defensive here, very defensive here, very aggressive here. And Adder is going very aggressive over here. Really wants to take out this base maybe. Probably. It's gonna need more than a neo tank. And kind of trying to defend the base, but also this area. Really wants to maintain this area. Doesn't want to give it up to Grid. But it's gonna be very tricky. Look how many units already Grid has. There's so many artillery and anti-airs, and there's not that many infantry to capture. But there's enough. There's enough of them to capture. There's just way too many units. And nothing really here from Adder to answer the neo tank even. Not even talking about the mega tank. Okay, finally we see a mega tank and a carrier. Okay, carrier to protect the copters from the fighters maybe. Gonna try to go over here and pressure the comm tower. Adder could try and get this comm tower too as well. So going very aggressive here, just got a few hits off with the recons and the infantry, and just gonna reposition very defensively over here. Adder is trying really hard to keep Grid from not joining the forces, because if Grid comes out like this and joins everything, then it's huge army from Grid. That could be very dangerous. This artillery, this range is wrong, but this artillery reaches this com tower. So I don't think Adder is gonna get that com tower anytime soon. And actually Grit moving in, Neo Tank hitting the tank, makes another Mega Tank, takes out all the recons, shoots at this one. Yeah, just like Adder wasn't able to stop Grit from joining the forces, and Grit is gonna go ahead and join both armies. You know, actually this missile might not be that bad, because if it moves, I think on this forest it goes 2, 4, 6, and it can airport lock here. So actually, not bad. It can get easily shot by a copter though. Okay, so bomber comes in. There's a cruiser. What? Why a cruiser? Oh, okay, it's gonna sit a fighter on the port. I think that's good, because if not, you're gonna see a battleship or something, or a carrier. It can be really annoying. But can Adder break through? These two medium tanks are really annoying. I think maybe instead of the bomber here, it could be bomber and then Neo tank, and then maybe you can break in. Because I feel like now these are gonna get shot by this anti-air. Actually, there's only one anti-air, so it's not even that bad. I think sacked something here. Yeah, this infantry to interrupt here. Oof, it's looking really scary, this over here. Makes another mega tank. Look at all these forces from Grit, and look at all these forces from... Eventually they're gonna, you know, explode and clash into each other, but... Okay, we got our first power. First power of the match. We got the super snipe. It's not even the power, it's the super snipe. What should see? Super snipe. Mega tank. Artillery gets a tank. Boom. 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 Oof. Okay, a lot of kills. And repositioning, another shot over there. That range is just insane. And this missile, whoa, that range is not correct, is it? That seems too much. That seems wrong. I think the replay viewer is wrong. That is definitely not the range of the missile. And these mega tanks occupying these two tiles makes it impossible for Adder to break through. This is so annoying. I think you can actually kill this mega tank though. I think 2 Neo tanks, especially with 2 com towers. So let's see. Now we have side slip. So the power for Adder. No superpower. So let's see. The income is still 52 against 70. Unit count, it's actually not that bad for Adder, to be honest. It's pretty good. So let's see. Okay. Oof, takes out that Neo tank. Can Adder take out the anti-airs? I think you really could have sent the bomber 2, 4, 6, 8 Neo tank. You kill here and then you maybe send the Neo tank here. I don't know. Oh well. These mega tanks live on. They live for another day, and they will make sure the base is not overrun yet. But it almost seems like Adder is like gonna win this race to the base rush. And then Grit is not yet rushing the base, but could very easily next turn just go like move everything over here and bye base. Because what are you gonna do with like 10 artilleries pointing at it? There's not gonna be enough mega tanks to hold that base, let's just say. And Adder just shifting a few units over here, I think, to pressure this artillery, maybe to, you know, to like shoo it away and be able to capture these com towers and cities from Grit. Anti-air. This bomber is gonna live, so that's pretty good for Adder. Another anti-air. So there's definitely an accumulation of anti-air here, which is not good for Adder. Yeah, as I was saying, Grit is moving in over here. Let's see. It's not getting any artillery pointing at the base, but this one is kind of. Yeah, this range is wrong because it's 2, 4, and then with the power it could reach the base. So it kind of is pointing at the base. Mega tank is trapped. You can have, yeah, all these artilleries are gonna be with the power pointing at the base. There's this rocket as well. Another one. That's 5 tiles away. So that's looking very, very scary. There's all these copters that they don't know what to do because there's this wall of anti-airs over here that Izanagi has been very meticulous about placing them. Just on the spot where only the copters can hit them, so they work as a wall, but they can't be hit by tanks or other units. So one anti-air is gone, and we got another side slip. So there you go. Oh, it only does 4 damage. I thought it would do more. I think maybe you could have used the super here and used the mega tank. Does this? Oh no! No way! I thought 2 new tanks killed the mega tank. Wow. Because it's on a road. Wow. I think another one could be to use a tank, like sack a tank, to increase the chances of taking it out. Does a bomber deal more damage to a mega tank than a new tank? Maybe use a bomber. Let's see if the infantry. Oh, the mega tank lives. But Grid is officially, how do you say, base blocked. So Grid cannot build anything from over here anymore. I think, actually, yeah, if this tile is used, then yeah. There's no way that Grid can build something now. I mean, he could delete this mega tank, move it. I don't know, because he had to take out the bomber, and I don't think he can take out the bomber. Because you'd have to... No, because even if you take out... Like, this anti is not going to kill the bomber in one shot, so... But definitely Eder investing a lot in this. And as I say that, Eder has 60 units versus 47. Half a million unit value versus 350 of Grid. And the income is 54 and 72. Like, the difference is so big. But it's like at this point with such big army values, it doesn't even matter if one has more than the other one, because with 350,000 in army value, you can deal so much damage. So more captures. There's not enough infantry here. I think Eder has been really good at hitting the infantry to delay the captures. So there you have this one healthy, and this one's at 1, 1, 2, 8. Like, you only have very few that are full health. Like this one, this one, this one, and this one. So they're gonna be very late at capturing these cities and potentially the base. So this mega tank is gonna get completely, and this one is just shot at by the infinite amount of artillery. And the mega tank finishes off the job. And Cruiser actually getting some shots at a fighter. You don't get to see that every day on Advanced Wars by Web. A Cruiser actually shooting at stuff. And yeah, so many units killed. You know, I think I said 60 units for Eder. It's already at 48, so like 12 kills in one turn. But hasn't been able to take the base yet. Hasn't been able to take the base. This is we're in the midst of a base rush here. They're both investing everything all in to take out the other one's base. We're gonna capture here. We're gonna start that capture here, here. So yeah, this base is gone by from Grid. This fighter is gonna have to be dealt with, and there's an anti-air coming, so that will get dealt with. So now Eder has to shift everything towards other areas of the map. You know, this objective has been completed. Now to the next thing. Because if you want to like you want to be the first one to successfully do this, or to take over the base, and at the same time prevent them from taking yours if you can. But if not, delay them enough. Another mega tank. So many mega tanks. Delay them so that then you can rush into the other parts of the map while they're still stuck around here trying to take over your base. So let's see, can Grid take over the base this turn? Adder's not gonna get this com tower just yet. So mega tank, poof, like so many shots at the mega tank. And there's all these copters here that have been waiting. Okay, yeah, the base is taken over, and maybe 2 fighters here. Well, these fighters are actually almost out of fuel. That's really funny. Okay. Whew. I mean, that's crazy. They've both successfully taken over the other one's base. And we have both with their supers charged. Very similar unit count and unit value, but either has way more income. But the income is gonna flip though, because all these cities are eventually gonna flip over. Boom, go the mega tanks, which are just gonna get shot at by artillery. Usually, like, you make a mega tank and it's like a mega tank will laugh at, you know, 1 or 2 artilleries or 3 artilleries even. But when you have 10 artilleries and a rocket and they're from Grid, I don't think there's gonna be enough mega tanks. Also, these fighters are like really good walls because you have mountain, fighter, fighter. So these mega tanks can't do anything here. These artilleries and rockets are gonna be pointing over here all day, every day. You're gonna need like an anti-air or a fighter. Like this carrier should like move here to shoot at these, but the rocket has this range +2, you know, can reach over here. So this carrier is trapped on this tile or this tile. Ridiculous. This fighter getting so many kills. Yeah, here go all the mega tanks. Oh, ouch. Yeah, that hurts. You have like 5, 6 units. Yeah, insane. Take that out, and this carrier is still protecting these copters, but I'm not sure how good these copters are gonna be. So we're on the race onto the other parts of the map. So because now we have the whole base trade situation, it's no longer a mixed base map. They have unmixed the base. They have unmixed the map. Oh my god, that's like a tongue twister. Unmixed the map. And so now the new contested areas would be pretty much this area right here and this area right here. So definitely a lot smaller than before. Because before, you know, we had like this was the contested area and this was the contested, so pretty big. And anything between the bases was contested. But now we have like very small and kind of choky areas contested. We got a sidewinder going. Okay. Let's see what the sidewinder can do. Oh, actually, oh no, okay, no, yeah, there's 2 towers per each. I thought somehow Adder had got more, but Adder's gonna stop Grid from getting this tower. This fighter's gonna get dealt with. Oh, Adder's gonna steal this one. Okay. Bomber, boom. Going, what? In range of the anti-airs? Oh, okay. But you still have this one. I'm pretty sure you can kill these and then boom, hit at the bomber. More mega tanks. Not sure if you want mega tanks against Grid, to be honest, because they're slow, so it's hard to put the pressure on. You know, I think you need more neo tanks and bombers with that long range. Ooh, we got the snipe attack. Oof, let's see. I mean, most of Grid's army is over here though, so, and Adder's is like advancing over here and a little bit over here and over here. So very out of position, but just because Grid was kind of late to the base trade. But let's see what the super snipe can do. No shots fired just yet. It's gonna stop the counter. Really doesn't want to give the com towers to Adder. It'd be really funny if Adder has 1, 2, 3, and 4 com towers. They're still at 2 and 2. No one has been able to flip any tower just yet. Okay, so the last unit from Adder is gone over here. And okay, we got our rocket. 2, 4, 6, 7. Oh, it's a power. It's a power. It's not a super. It's a power. Yeah, there's a big lack of healthy infantry here from Grit, but the CPC could come in handy to push some infantry over here into the base and the airport. Yeah, there you go. A few tanks. These are like the first tanks that Grit has made this whole match. And Adder gets this tower and gets the port. He's gonna get the airport. Ooh, gets a shot at the rocket. That's pretty nice. Oh, this bomber lives actually. Oof. Gets to kill the new tank. Pretty good. It's gonna try to keep up the pressure. Adder really wants to, you know, keep attacking, while Grid is still trying to reposition the units. Gonna get some nice little breakthroughs here. Wow. Okay. I think Grid is Adder is charging way deep into the 2 base though, so that's kind of tricky. All this is gonna get shot at. I'm not super sure. Like, this bomber is gonna live, I think. Yeah, I think it's gonna live. But there's not enough units over here from Adder. Okay, so that bomber dies. And if you look at the unit value, like Grid is Adder. Oh my god, I keep confusing him. Adder keeps is pretty well ahead, like 100k, 20k on income. But yeah, it's because all of these cities, like once all of this gets split, it's gonna be pretty even. Oh, and Adder gets the 3 com towers. I might actually get this one if Grit doesn't stop it. He's gonna try to flip this one. Got snap attack. Let's see what it does. It's probably to attack all of this, so let's see. Boom. 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 And whoa. Oh, it was 1 HP, okay. And the rocket is gonna shoot at the artillery. Really? You wanna shoot at the new tank? Okay. And yeah, it's gonna... Well, Adder's gonna get the tower. So Adder's gonna have 4 towers versus 0 towers Grid. Oof, but wow, but Grid has 45 units versus 32 of Adder. What happened? That last turn was brutal. Look at 45. Boom, 32. That's insane. So yeah, Adder has 4 towers. We got 140 firepower from Adder. Actually, his artillery is stronger than Grid's, but doesn't have extra range. 140, that's like max with 2 towers. So let's see. I kind of like more Grid's position right here because with all this unmixing of the map, you know, it's very choky and it's very hard to create a lot of battles, and it's very easy for the artillery to just sit in where they are and keep shooting. But let's see if Adder can do something with these 4 towers, can maybe get some nice wall breaks and just try to, like this, you know, damage all of the artillery and make it impossible for Grid to do anything about it. Also, like exploiting the high income, you know, having all these big units, like keep throwing Neo tanks and mega tanks in there, and you have injured artillery, they're not gonna do much. So let's see. Grid's still trying to capture this. Adder is not gonna let Grid get this com tower. Mini is happy to have the 4 com towers of the map. I mean, how many times do you have the chance to have 4 com towers at the same time? Comes in the fighter. I mean, to be honest, Grid has really had to pull back over here. So pretty successful from Adder. Although at the expense of a lot of units. Like, you can see the unit count disparity now. It's really high. Might actually get this city. Yeah. So Adder's gonna get this one. And just another mega tank. So Izanagi just playing very defensively. Like he knows that he doesn't have to push. He just has to hold here, and Grit wins. Like that's Grit, you know? You successfully did the trade, the base trade. Now it's a matter to just build up all the unit count again, and then you do the slow push to take over the map. We got a Sidewinder. Not a side slip. Let's see what it does. Oof, almost gets that KO there. Couldn't shoot at anything else. Maybe shoot at here or here. I think wanted to get like the mega tank involved here. That would have been pretty cool. Okay, gets that one. What else? And that's it. Oof. Adder's just really behind in unit count, and it's showing because it's when you don't have enough unit count, you don't have enough attacks. Like it's nice to have mega tanks and neo tanks, but you saw the neo tank had to shoot at a copter, couldn't even get the kill. The mega tank shot at anti-air, an injured one. Like this is where all the unit count from Grid is paying off to use as blockers. Ooh, this missile is shooting at that bomber. Wow. Ooh, this right, boom. Oh, that carrier's gonna die too. And oh my god. Oof. Oh my god, that was. Oof, that hurt. Wow, yeah, that turn was brutal. That was like Grid's ideal turn right there. That was devastating. Just killed so many units. Wow, let's see. I mean, I guess it didn't kill that many, but like very high value. Like a bomber, neo tank, 2 mega tanks. Boom. And over here, bomber, neo tank. Boom. Yep. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad now for Adder. Like Adder has the 4 towers though, and has the income lead, and like I don't know, it has like so many things going, but I'm not sure about that black belt. Maybe 2 fairy infantry somehow. But yeah, now I mean, it has to pull back, I guess, because there's nothing to do here. These fighters are blockers. He has to wait for the anti to come in to take him out. Makes 2 fighters. It's really pulling back over here. Just can't afford to keep throwing units into here. This is like the meat grinder. And let's see. Now Grid has all the momentum. Adder has finally pulled back, and now it's Grid's time. It's gonna steal this comm tower. It's gonna finish taking all of these properties. It's gonna start advancing. Over here, kind of like defensively, kind of like the little pocket, but all of these units from Grid has finally been able to accumulate a good amount of unit count. And there's not enough unit count from Adder. There's like a few mega tanks, but you really want like more and more units, like the ones that Mininini had a few turns ago. And it's gonna use all these mountains here. It's very, very protective. Yeah, just very slow push. It's gonna wait for the infantry to arrive to then capture. Adder's on a clock, or maybe it's just over the clock by now. Like it's looking really bad for Adder. It's very hard to come back. Like once Grid gets to a point, it's very hard to break through that. So pulling back, trying to accumulate more units to then be able to boom, charge in and have one good attack. I mean, it's also not easy for Grid. You have to be very meticulous of how you position your units. Like you have all these units pointing from Mininini. So Grid has to be careful of where the units go and stuff, so that Adder just can't just charge in and attack all of the artillery, for example. Because if you charge in and you hit all of the artillery, then Grid is left with like neo tank, mega tank, but like has less attack, like, and Adder has 4 comm towers, like Grit really wants to maintain that artillery number, and we get the resign from Mininini. GG, will play to both. I think I was following this match for a really long time because it took a really long time. It took like 3 months or something like that to finish, and I just kept seeing these huge armies just develop and just staring at each other. This is definitely not what Adder would have wanted, like this scenario right now, and I totally understand why Mininini resigned. You're fighting in like these tiny areas, you know, these little choke points of the map, because these are the new contested areas of the map, and it's just really hard for Adder to do something against Grit because it's just there's not enough tiles to attack from, and so you can keep charging in like Mininini was doing over here a few turns ago, and Grit is just gonna shoot back every turn. I think maybe on these last few turns, Mininini could have, instead of attacked over here, could have, you know, after the base trade, where is it, like over here, you know, base trade, and then started shifting everything like towards the top. I think Mininini could have instead shifted down here and pushed that way, because this is the 2 base. That's gonna be really tricky to pressure. Like, you only have 1 base reinforcing over here, and from over here it just takes forever to reinforce. Or maybe do half and half, you know, try to keep it like multiple fronts somehow. It's very tricky. Probably the best thing, you know, in hindsight, you know, after watching the whole match, is avoid the base trade scenario. Because if we go all the way to the kind of beginning, you know, like this, day 9, day 10, you can see how much control Adder had over the whole map. Like, had control of this one big section, and was contesting this area. So like Grit wasn't comfortable here and wasn't able to get cities either. Like, had this com tower, had this city, but Adder was with this army, and this army was like contesting here and had control of this one. But once Grit started pulling over here as a kind of like, okay, now I'm gonna contest this area if I can't go for this one, then Mininini starts to like shift everything over here and towards this space, and more defensively over here. Like, tries to maintain here and goes for this rush over here, like the base rush. And I understand the base rush, but I feel like lately I've been seeing a lot of matches where the stallier CO tends to benefit more from a base trade. Because the more aggressive CO, like Adder, you know, stuff like Max, stuff like that, they love when it's mixed. Like, they can boom, boom, send tank here, send tank there, and just pressure every area of the map. And makes it really hard for the stally CO to stall, because there's so many places to defend. But if you go for a base trade, you know, Adder goes here, boom, to base trade, and Grit goes over here to base trade. And then it's like you get this unmixed base, unmixed map, and all of a sudden the map becomes like this whole triangle is Grit and this whole triangle is Adder, and you're fighting in these tiny areas instead of like, you know, multiple fronts, and so that just benefits Grit. So just food for thought to maybe consider not going for a base trade when you're the aggressive CO, and I don't know, maybe go for the base trade if you're the stallier CO. Like, I don't know, the meta has been changing a lot, and I'm all for it. I love it. I love strategies changing, and I love people having different approach for different COs. This match was crazy because I very rarely see Grit be played, and very rarely seen Grit played at a high level. And with this success, like being able to hold on in a mixed base, take over a base, and then just like amass that amount of units, that was crazy. Just completely different strategies and completely different like army composition and everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed this match and this video as much as I have watching this match, and I hope you have a great rest of the day. I'll see you on the next time.